What's up? Oh, what timing? It is happy 4th of July to everybody. If you're in America or if you're all around the world, why the heck not? Happy 4th of July. I'm Dominic D'Angelo, and right over there is Rob Van Dam, RVD. How are you, Rob? Happy 4th.
Hey, Dom, thanks. What are you doing here?
Jeez, I've just walked right in.
May the 4th of July be with you, sir.
Yes, sir. You as well, man. You as well.
Okay.
Are you a fireworks guy? Do you like fireworks?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's noise pollution, it's air pollution, followed by ground pollution. And sorry, anyone that's listening that thinks I sound like a Scrooge right now, but in general, I'm not a holiday guy anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I don't prefer the disruption of my patterns of life the holidays do, and it's like, wait, there's no mail today, the bank's closed too, wait, it's Martin Luther King Day, what is it? No, but cool, celebrate, like it's a good reason. And if you got a regular job, then it's cool to have holidays to take a break from that. And when I grew up on the campground, there was 3 holidays that we looked forward to that were summer holidays: Memorial Day, 4th of July, and then Labor Day, which was sad because that was the end of the summer. Meant time to go back to school. But the holidays were when the campground would be crowded and, good chance we might see some girls there.
Ooh, yeah, summertime.
Pool would be crowded, so I could splash a lot of people and have a lot of fun, acting like I slip on the diving board to soak people in their clothes anywhere within 50 feet radius. Yeah, I was that good, bro.
Nice. You knew it. You knew the strategy to do that?
I spent so much time doing that, yeah. But, I make a really big splash when it's intentional. Like, that was something that we learned to do, But we used to do that all the time, like, victimize people, like, oh, watch this guy. Watch this family that just came in. They're going to dip their toe in. Watch. Run over there because they're not even looking. And we could jump so far off that diving board. And then we got to where, we could like go into a dive and then just tuck it to hit a watermelon that boom comes over and just bam makes a massive tidal wave and would soak them. And we thought it was funny, but they didn't always think it was funny.
They didn't like it as much.
Sometimes I would get kicked out of the pool for that. Stuff like that. But so we'd pretend like, what? I slipped on the board sometimes, if they were close to the deep end or whatever, but couldn't fake that if you're getting them all the way on the other end of the shallow and you're really reaching for it. But yeah, that was amongst the silly stuff I did as a kid. But as an adult, yeah, I'm not, if you love fireworks, then awesome. I asked Katie if she wants to run around the block carrying sparklers later on, and she kind of agrees with me. It doesn't seem as fun as an adult, so
right.
I'm mostly, I'm just concerned about all the dogs that are gonna escape their yards tonight or their houses frightened and be missing, by morning. So
that's a good point too. My dog I previously had, she was super afraid of fireworks.
Yeah, some of them are. Fortunately, our grumpy griffins don't seem to mind too much. But a lot of dogs, it's so traumatizing.
Yeah, it really can be. Holy smokes. And plus, you're shooting it's a waste of tax dollars if you think about it. Seriously. You're just popping it up in the air, and there you go.
It's wasteful in many ways. I do also think, like if it's done really well and it's in sync with some music or whatever, and it's a big show, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger, and they're exploding. And I have been moved by a really good fireworks show on a number of occasions. I'm like, wow, and that is something that I think has been a cool experience. But I still wouldn't consider myself a fireworks kind of guy in general.
Yeah. No, that's a good point too. If music's playing along, or they do a really orchestral kind of thing and Pittsburgh has a pretty nice fireworks display. But we're down pouring rain right now, actually. So that's getting all rained down anyways right now. So.
Yeah. They do it over the strip. I don't know if they're going to do it today or if it's just everybody, all the Cowboys residentials doing it illegally. I don't know, but they do it in New Year's Eve and maybe another time too. I don't. But it's something that sometimes the whole strip like gets together and they collaborate on something that's pretty special.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. I like somewhat of the holidays of that kind of aspect. Getting the day off, kind of having a hamburger or hot dog's not bad either. Gives you a reason to kind of do that stuff. So I'm all right with that. We got a fun show to plan today, but guys, we are live, so if you have a question for RVD, pop it in there. Me and Fonzie are actually doing a giveaway too. So if you use the super chat and you put Fonzie in the super chat too, you will automatically be entered to win one of a track suit that Fonzie is giving away that features RVD, Sabu, and Fonzie. It's pretty neat. It's got your names on it and then the ECW logo. So we're going to do a little giveaway. So if you use the super chat, boom, you're automatically entered into the contest for next few weeks or so.
Sweet.
And guys, if you see this too, new RVD hat right out. It's on onetruesport.com. It looks great. I was really happy with it. Front and back there. And you can go and scan that QR code or go to onetruesport.com and get your own. So if it's good. More merchandise to come. I'm going to make some cool stuff, I think. So cool. But guys, Rob, I guess what I wanted to start off with today was, did you see Paul Heyman get powerbombed through a table?
No, but I feel like, didn't we already do a show since that happened? No, I thought we talked about it, but
because that happened last Friday on SmackDown. Yeah. So he got powerbombed.
We did a show on Sunday this week, didn't we?
Did we?
I made that. I just wanted the narrative to fit my.
No, we did it. We did it on Thursday because we went up against the debate.
Okay, so, well, if anybody has one of these Dr. Dabber's Evo, what does it say? Evo. Somewhere it says Evo. Evo. What the fuck?
On the bottom?
Dr. Dabber Evo. Anyway, it's like one of many, many gifts that I have, and I usually don't use it, and I usually just do doobies, as you know. But I thought, hey, seemed like a good idea. I thought before that it was really intimidating to try to figure out how to use it, so I never use it for that reason. And I pulled it out, and the other day I was using it, and now I forgot how to do it again. Like, there's only seems to be one button, but it seems like there must be a number. I used to, I think I would hit it in Jesus. I think I would hit the button like 5 times, because that's what you do with a vape pen. And this thing, like, it comes on, but then somehow I was getting it to heat up, and it would vibrate and it would turn red. And I thought that I was pushing it in and holding it in, but when I do that, that doesn't do it.
That's strange.
So anyone in the chat room, if you happen to know what in the hell am I doing wrong, because
you got a big hit out of it when we started the show last week, and then you tried it again and it didn't work.
Was that what happened? Like,
you got a big hit and you were coughing, and then on the second hit you didn't get anything out of it.
So I got it, but it turns red, and it tells you it tells you it's cooking up, and then it vibrates to tell you it's ready for you to hit it, and then you have so much time, then it'll vibrate again to tell you that it's done. And I cannot get it to go red again, and I don't know why. Yeah, I remember we got the Pride colors last week, right?
Yeah, we did. It's not busted, is it? You don't think?
Well, it might be. I have other ones too, but yeah, because I don't know. I will look in the owner's manual or look it up online before I decide that it might be busted. But
Kevin Gilmore says, just do the multiple clicks, 1, 2, or 3. Will that change things up? I have no idea. So, Mouthpiece Murphy also says, try 3 clicks, he says.
Well, I did break the fucking glass on it. Could that be a factor? I don't know. I feel like it shouldn't know that I broke it, but oh, maybe it wasn't all the way down. Let's see. Well, maybe it feels like it might have a different connection. Okay, but there's 5 clicks, and now 1 does nothing. But if I go 3, nothing, 4, nothing, 5.
What?
Okay, but now what's it doing? Nothing.
Yeah.
So I do it again. I don't know. Okay, now if I do it quick enough, so like I click it 5 times, it turns it on. Okay, now I got to be quick enough. Fuck.
Hey, so Fatty Tubbs here says, press and hold the button for 3 seconds to heat. Then there's a button up near the glass part that is the air release. Use that to hit.
I can't get it to heat though. It might be because it's broke.
Uh-oh.
That's what I was doing, was pressing it. Like you got to have it on first, right? And then you fucking set the temperature by the color, whatever. And then
Mouthpiece Murphy says the multiple colors is the reheat mode. So when you get Pride Month, that's when it's reheat mode.
That's when it's preheat. So
that's
what?
The reheat mode.
Motherfucker, you. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm in preheat. So now what? Now I can hold it in.
So, yeah. What's he do next? What's he do next?
I hold it in, and it's just fucking. It just flashed and turned itself off. You son of a bitch. Back up there. Rainbow.
Click on your link. We can't click on your link in there and the super. Just so you know.
What?
I'm telling Fatty Tubbs he shared a link for us, but I can't click on it. Because it's in the.
I'm pretty sure that I'm doing what I was doing the other day, but it's not working now. So all right, I'm willing to move on if you guys are.
I think we can. We got some super chats already in.
I got another one of these anyway, so don't worry.
Do you? Sweet.
But I did have that one filled with wax, and now it's wasted waxy glass.
Wasted wax. Dylan Elam, $5. Thank you. He says, "Here's a question: if ECW was to be established today, who would your 4 pillars be? Any guys or gals from any company today?" And then he enters the Fonzie contest. Happy 4th, he says. So 4 guys or gals you would pick in a today version of ECW, like modern.
What? So I guess what we're looking for here is, I guess, who out of today's stars would be choices for a modern day ECW? Is that?
Yep, that sounds what he's looking for. Guys or gals?
Oh, all right. So let's go with the guys that seem to like the hardcore matches. Are there some in WWE? Some wrestlers there that are known for preferring.
You could probably do Kevin Owens. He does some stuff once in a while.
Okay.
Kevin Owens does some pretty cool and crazy stuff. At least
I said I was moving on.
Moving on.
Jesus. But I mean, when you say about, it's hard to say who would be the pillars because you got to earn that. You know what I mean? Like that's like they're just starting out. You can't start out being a pillar. No, I don't know. I guess you can, right? You got to build a house and your foundation, and you got to have your pillars then, and you got to count on them to do what you want them to do and be there, so you can count on their support and their strength. So, all right. So, all right. But I don't know all the Japanese stars, you know, because there's some dudes there that they're like doing wacky, crazy stuff. Let's say the 4 pillars are Tommy Dreamer's 2 little girls. Oh, you didn't expect that one.
Oh, hey there.
Twins. His twins. They're hardcore. And Devon's kid.
Oh, there you go.
And Sandman's kid. The new ECW is completely run on nepotism. You have to be second generation or more in order to even make it, let alone be a pillar. So
wow, that's gotta embrace the nepotism. Embrace the nepotism.
maybe, and on standby is Little Guido's kid, Nick, because
yeah,
I remember carrying that kid in a baby carriage, carrying my half like up some steps. Like Little Guido had the other side, and he was like, hey, help me. We had to get like up some steps or something on a building. And I remember like it was this little baby in there, and I was like so scared because it's just like, man, this little life is so vulnerable, like, and then my mind always goes to extreme versions and, like, whoa, what if I fucking dropped it, or fuck, oh my God, like, what if the baby like rolled down the steps and whatever. Is that normal? Sometimes when someone, sometimes when a mom was like holding a baby, I think, oh my God, what if I just like spiked it out of her hand like a football?
All the time, Rob. OCD is a part of that for me. Like I used to think about that shit all the time, and that would like freak me out. I'm like, why am I thinking like that? And here it was obsessive compulsive disorder. That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't mind now, like at conventions or whatever. I never used to. As a personal policy, I would say, how about you hold your kid and get in the picture with me? I'm more comfortable with that. But now if they really want me to hold the kid, I'm like, I'm not going to drop this kid. And it means a lot, to the family, to the kid someday, when the kid's in line to get my autograph in 20 years and see me wrestle, and his kid 20 years after that.
Somebody suggested Hook. Hook in ECW. That would be.
Yeah, there you go. That's who fits. He fits the itinerary. Yeah, he fits the
qualifications, the prerequisites.
There you go. All that.
It was funny too. You mentioned Little Guido's son because I was such a mark for Little Guido. It was like 2015. I went to the House of Hardcore Tommy Dreamer show, and Little Guido showed up, and I was so pumped. And I was like, Little Guido, can I get a picture? I loved you in ECW, all that stuff. He's like, yeah. And it was his son that took the picture for us. So, pretty
yeah. It's when we were in Philly in April, I was talking to Sandman, and this dude's standing next to him, like with a full beard and everything. And then Sandman's, Tyler did this and this and this. I'm like, oh yeah, and the kid and the dude with the beard is like, yeah, and I'm like, wait, you're Tyler? And they're both, just like, yeah, like matter of fact, like I'm like, dude, how am I supposed to know this is Tyler? Like nobody in the world would know. That's what Tyler looks like now, because he was on TV as a kid. People saw him with his blonde short hair, and now he's like a full-grown big trucker-looking dude.
That's crazy. It's got to be so surreal to see kids like that. Like you see them like that, or in a carrier, and here they are, like being adults and stuff like that.
Yeah. What if I be old enough to have a kid?
Would Dominic Mysterio count? Because Ray was in ECW, so.
Yeah, but we can only have 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but that's the rest of the crew, though. You got the idea. That's what we're doing.
I like.
It's extremely picky.
Very picky. Very picky.
Yeah.
All right, I like.
Extremely high restrictions you got to pass to get in. You have to have it in your blood, literally.
David Von Boeglen, One True Sport member and an avid viewer of the show. Hey, Rob and Dom, hope you're doing well. I got to get in that Fonzie drawing. So while we're at it, how about a fun Fonzie road story, Rob? You have a fun Fonzie road story.
All right. What comes to mind when I think of a fun Fonzie road story? Well, one time, we hung out a lot. We were pretty close, not just working, because some relationships are like that. You tag team partners, even managers, sometimes you don't really hang out except for in the ring, sometimes. But me and Sabu, obviously, we brothers, Fonzie, right down the middle, Daddy. So we were all like family and stuff. So we'd travel together, be in the same hotel rooms and stuff. And I remember one time, I think we were in Philly, but we were in the hotel room, and man, poor Fonzie. Fonzie, let's see, was he sleeping? I think he was sleeping. It's not like he was, like passed out in a corner from, partying or anything. Like he, that's not like him, actually that's a lot of the boys, but that's not Fonzie. But we were in a room, Sabu's room, and Fonzie was had his eyes closed, and he was like I think he was like under the blanket in the bed. And when I came in, I don't know if it was a adjoining room or something, but Sabu puts the lights on and stuff, and he's like talking, and then he's like, oh well, shh, and he said, be quiet. And he had this what was this stuff? There was some kind of I don't think it was there was some kind of something that we used to take back in the day. It was like a muscle rub, and it really, really like burned, like really bad.
Hot? Was it like icy hot?
It was like icy hot. There used to be something I think called DMHO. There was something called DMSO or DMSO. I don't think it was that, but it could have had some of that in it. DMSO, if you look that up, that was like very, really popular around that time, maybe a little before that. It might have been that, but that shit, it was so bad. Like football players, it was banned from like professional football because it would they put it on their knees, they would forget they even had bad knees, and they'd feel great and they'd go out and then injure themselves. But it was so strong that when people took it, you'd smell it in their breath.
Oh,
so
wow.
People my age, especially athletes and older, know about this. Anyway, this was either one or the other, and Sabu put it all over Fonzie's face while he's sleeping. Yeah, and he woke up to a burning, he woke, and he was like, he grabbed, I can't remember if he grabbed my shirt or Sabu's shirt. I think he grabbed Sabu's shirt, and he wiped, instinctively, and got it in his eyes and stuff. Oh. And someone was like, it's a joke. He's like, bad joke. And his eyes were burning. I remember, like, I felt like so bad. Like, I couldn't believe that he did that. I thought it was funny, like it was like shockingly like, I might have laughed at the shock of like, oh my God, I'm actually witnessing this. Like, bro, that stuff was bad. And he went to the Sanka course and said, I was screaming and stuff. And then what's he gonna do? You know what I mean? Okay, yeah.
You got me.
Yeah, you got me. Right.
Oh man, poor Fonzie.
Yeah, you have to, if you remember, asking about if he remembers that one day. I just thought like, God damn, that's like torture. Yeah. Waking up to that too.
Yeah. Was that like instantaneous too? Like, would you feel it instantaneous, or did it take a couple like minutes?
It takes, it took a couple seconds to, so you could like wipe it on and then kind of like wipe your hands off, and then just kind of like wait. It gets more and more intense. Yeah, it was some really strong shit, but it's not even on the market anymore.
Good golly. Jeez. I was trying to look it up. I was getting a whole bunch of kind of.
You see DMSO?
Yeah, I typed in DMSO on Wikipedia, dimethyl sulfoxide or something like that. And
bodybuilders and football players and athletes,
Oh, they say something, about an odor problem. You're right. Cause severe odor problems.
It goes out of your pores and in your breath and shit, even though you put it on your knee. That's some really strong shit.
That's nuts. But
I miss it. But maybe it's around still. It's just it wasn't made for humans anyway. It was made for horses.
Oh, was it really? Wow. Jeez. David. Oh no, I asked that one already. Which one didn't I ask here? Oh, here it is. Mr. Marijuana, ice cold. from last week. I remember him.
Yeah.
He says 9:34 a.m. on the West Coast. RVD. I love seeing RVD and Eddie in the ring. Yeah, he means Eddie Guerrero, I'd imagine. Does Rob have any Eddie stories? Also, beating Sting in TNA. It was a cool TNA debut. Yes, it was. Yeah, any good Eddie Guerrero stories there, Rob?
Man, you know, I feel like I was asked before and kind of had a hard time. I think the most of my Eddie time was in the ring. You know, I mean, I talked to him on the bus when we're international a little bit. I never like rode with him in a car, like just he and I. So I never really had any deep talks with him or experiences. I don't even remember, you know, like being at a bar with him or anything like that. So it's hard. So I guess I would have to come up with something in the ring, since that's most of my experience with Eddie. And I just remember that, like, that ladder match that we had that everybody remembers. We had two, like, within a short amount of time. The other one was maybe a week before, maybe 2 weeks before, but we had two. And one was on television, one wasn't, if I remember right. And the first one that we had, which was probably the one that wasn't on television, was different than the one on TV, but it was really good. Gave us a chance, you know, to warm up, so to speak. And I just remember Eddie saying beforehand, you know, hey, you know, this is, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly his words, but I remember him saying, hey, this is your area of expertise, man. You know, this is your thing, man. So I'm going to let you think about this and, you know, come up with some crazy shit. And I remember that, which a lot of the guys did for me, you know, especially when we're doing ECW or hardcore matches or whatever, because that is my thing. But Eddie took everything like so serious, you know. He was like really intense, and he would read his Bible before going out to the ring. You know, when I'm putting my boots on in the dressing room, he's sitting over there. He's like reading passages from his Bible. And man, I can't think of any stories that I would consider funny. Unfortunately, I don't know what even to say. I can't remember a time, you know, being at the hotel with him where something happened. A secondhand funny story, which means we all got to question the credibility of it. But John Pee Wee Moore, he was in our clique in ECW, our referee. And he had a lot of experience in New Japan. Sabu brought him over to Japan. He had to live in the dojo, learn how to be a young boy, learn respect and all that, so that Sabu could get him booked to just a referee. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know Eddie yet. I knew of him, of course. One of the first stories I remember was from Pee Wee, and he said that on these New Japan tours that Eddie would get drunk all the time and then want to fight Hawk and stand up, you know, to Hawk and want to fight him. And he said Hawk would have to like put him in his place. And then, and he said like that would happen over and over again. And he'd get drunk again and come back afterwards. Oh yeah, man, you think just because you're a big man that you can do that to me, man? And he said, you know, the Hawk would have to, like, the way Pee Wee put it, like Hawk would have to beat him up real quick. And then and it made it seem like a friendly relationship of that happening, which, like I said, that's, you know, with questionable credibility, but that's honest to gosh, the only funny Eddie story I can think of right now.
I think that's pretty good. And it's pretty neat too, just the fact that like he lets you like he trusted you to like, hey, just handle this. Like this is your kind of deal with the ladder matches or whatever, you
Yeah.
had going into it. I think that's pretty neat too. Yeah, I like, it's pretty funny, like thinking back as a fan. Probably my first heel, like first guy I actually didn't like in wrestling was probably Jeff Jarrett, I'm thinking. Like during the Razor Ramon, Jeff Jarrett days. And then, no doubt about it, Eddie Guerrero in WCW really got me as a big time heel that I hated. So
Yeah, he was very, very entertaining as a heel.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty neat too. I always liked it. So okay, the plan was what I was gonna do is it being the 4th of July.
I'll also add this. Let me add this too.
Yeah.
Not so funny, but another. Just thinking about, how Eddie and the person who he was, how that's crossed my paths. I've spoken before, probably on the show. Definitely been open about it before on other platforms about when I was in WWE. I don't know, 2000. Who knows? I was going to say something. I think I was wrong. But anyway, at a point when I was rocking it, I think I had the original momentum still going. So it was fairly new, not much past 2001 where I was like, yeah, the fans, I'm over with the fans and I'm on a pretty good run. And Bruce Pritchard said to me one time, pulled me aside and said, hey, John Cena's going to be taking off in October. And he's going to be doing this movie. So, that's happening. When, you should be aware of that. And I was like, okay. And he said, that's a good opportunity for you to, really maybe step into that position. And I took offense to it. A lot of listeners, you've probably heard me tell this story, but I took it as if, are you saying I should work harder? Are you not watching my matches? Are you not seeing me out there busting my ass and not seeing the way the fans connect with me? And I don't know how I worded it, but I asked him a version of that. And he was like, no, it's not about that. You have to build a relationship with Vince. That's what's missing. And I, again, took offense to that, being however young and inexperienced I was and defensive and unwilling to even bend. I took that as if saying, so I got to kiss ass on top of what I'm doing, because I felt like my work should stand for itself. Yeah. I should not have to fight for my position once I'm already here in the position of being on your TV show, getting in that ring, doing my thing. Boom. I'm here. I shouldn't have to fight for my position. And I always did resent that you still got to fight for your position. But that is the way it is, You got to show that you won it or whatever. And everybody, one by one, that was important, and of the executive branch, came up and told me the same thing shortly after. One of them was Shano McMahon. And then Stephanie came up and said the exact same thing to me. And, had I done things differently and really built that relationship with Vince then in that year, then maybe I would have been put forward in a more solid position than I was. I know not everyone at those meetings was rooting for me from, information being leaked out that was in there. But what Stephanie said to me was, you have to go to my dad and you have to prove to him that you won it. And as an example, she used Eddie. And she said, Eddie was at the top of the world. He had his downfall. And when he was ready, he wasn't going to let anything stop him. And he went to my dad and he said, I'm going to be your champion again. You're going to see. I'm going to be your I'm going to do it. I'm going to make this happen. And he did. And my father has to know, that he can trust you in order to do that. You have to have that relationship with him. And, I always think of Eddie as that. I think of, when I think of Eddie, I think of being in that spot of being symbolic for the passion that it takes to really drive yourself to the top, even if you have obstacles rolling back downhill against you,
Yeah. Wow. That's a really great story about Eddie,
Yeah. Not really funny, but a good story.
Good story indeed. Yeah. It's just like, and you could always tell he was very driven, even in the WCW days, because he wanted to get up there. Like, he wanted to be top of the card. And, like, WCW didn't really give him that opportunity. So, boom, goes to WWE, blows up, becomes a huge star. So, speaks to his work ethic and drive and determination.
Eddie.
I love it. Three amigos, baby. Mr. Marijuana, ice cold again. Chimes with another $5. Thanks, man. Fonzie versus Beulah. Were you there? Your Rob Van effing damn Vince never used you like Sting. Shit happens, but I'm glad you had your WWE win and TNA run. So Fonzie and Beulah, were you there for that?
Yes, I was. I was proud of Fonzie having a wrestling match. Like, at the time, I thought it was good. Like, it was competitive, and I haven't watched it back and like critiqued it as a match, but I guess my expectations were met and then some. And one thing I'll always remember was he bled so much. I remember him even pantomiming to the fans, whoa, I'm looking like I'm losing my balance, all this blood coming out, I'm getting woozy, and looked like he was.
I believe it.
Yeah, that was a special night, and I was there. Special night in his career. He doesn't have too many matches, and I don't remember if I was gonna say, I don't know if me and Sabu jumped in at the end or whatever. If we did, then I guess he probably would have known that I was there. But I was proud of him.
Yeah, he says that Paul Heyman considers that one of his favorite ECW matches. Actually.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. How about that, huh? Seth chimes in just gives us $20, and he says, "Proud to be a Van Damerican, a Van Damerican," to the tune of "Proud to be an American."
Van Damerican. Well, thanks, Seth. Always good to hear from you.
Seth, tell us what your album is. He's coming out with an album, or he just came out with an album?
And is our song on it that we can't use?
That's a good question. We still got to figure that out. Seth, I got to email you. By the way.
Yeah, plug it when you're ready to plug it.
Plug it, and we'll get it up there, Seth. Let us know what it is. We got another $10 from Infidel Castro. Hey, that's a clever name. Canadian $10.
Infidel Castro. Creative.
Happy 4th, Rob. Smoking Liquid Imagination. Odd name for a strain. Thanks for the years of entertainment. Have you ever heard of Smoking Liquid Imagination?
I have not. But it's interesting, and it does remind me of a time when we were in Europe. I think it was definitely with AWR, with the Ireland crew. Some of this story might be, I don't know, he probably wouldn't care if me telling it, but let's just say some of the boys got a hold of some stuff, and they were showing it to me, and it was like brown powder, like not like powder, but like, I don't know, cinnamony kind of granule powder. It was granule, and they said it was liquid ecstasy. I'm like, how the hell is that liquid anything, let alone liquid ecstasy? It looks like brown sugar.
Yeah.
And that's what that reminds me of, But yeah, that led to a time when man, we were all on the bus waiting, for a takeoff in the morning. 8:30 in the morning. It's 9, quarter after 9, whatever. We're still waiting, and then the promoter, he's not gonna care that I tell this story. I don't think. Nah, fuck no. Some of the stories he's told on himself. So the promoter, Mr. Joey Cabaret, miss you, Joey. Those are some fun tours, dude. He comes to get me and says, "Hey," he goes, "X-Pac isn't answering his phone. He's not answering his door." And I said, "Fuck, let's go." Right away I'm thinking, you don't know. You can't play around because boys OD.
Yeah,
It happens all the time. And they have this fucking ridiculous liquid ecstasy bullshit. And anyway, I said, boom, okay, let's go get a key from the front desk. And he said, no. Joey said, well, he showed me because I have a key. I just, if you're willing to, I said, fuck yeah, let's go in there, dude. No question about it. And anyway, went in there, opened up the door, and this motherfucker was he? I can't remember if he was already in the bathtub or if we put him in the bathtub. I think he was in the tub already, sleeping with the shower hitting him. Oh. And when we came in there, he was already laying like that, and I was like, motherfucker, and anyway, I was in an annoyed mood at the time, so it wasn't, like, bro, dude, I was like, motherfucker, dude, get up. We're all fucking out there on the bus. What are you doing? I didn't have a very cool vibe. I was mad anyway that they were doing the
brown sugar.
Yeah, because he was an influence on Sabu at the time, so he had some heat with me, momentarily over that because I was looking out for Sabu. And anyway, that's a little background story to why I was particularly frustrated and a little snappy and not friendly to him at that moment. I was feeling like very much like, man, this guy. So.
Oh man. Avoid the brown sugar, guys. Avoid the brown sugar. Seth says his album is not out yet, but he will plug it when he does it. He does have, he says, an older song called Winter Soldiers for July 4th, not for patriots, but for independent freedom fighters. Check it out. So Winter Soldiers, take a look for that.
Isn't that a Captain America movie?
It is. Winter Soldiers, Bucky Barnes.
Okay.
That was Bucky Barnes in the whatchamacallit.
Let's hear this Seth song about Bucky Barnes.
Bucky Barnes. Tune in, guys. Check it out. Is it on Spotify, Seth? Let us know if it's on Spotify and stuff. I'll let everybody know about that. Okay. So, Rob, my idea was being the 4th.
This is the fun idea. This is the fun episode we got in mind.
This is the fun. So, my idea was it being the 4th of July, I'm going to pop up pictures of American-themed wrestlers, and you just give a story about it or your thoughts on somebody. Maybe it's a story already told. Doesn't matter. But I picked out 11. We'll probably do like 5 or something, but I'll pick them out, and you just go for it. We'll start off with an easy one here, one that's pretty synonymous. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Yes, here it is, Mr. Hulk Hogan, Rob. Mr. Hulk Hogan. What kind of good story do you have about Hulk Hogan?
Wow. So Hulk Hogan, the real American.
Yeah.
Well, one time when WWE was doing something, I don't know why this particular group of people was separated from the other wrestlers, but for whatever reason, a very small group of us had to go from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but we had to go to New York for some reason. Madison Square Garden? I don't know. Maybe we were on the A show and we had to catch up and be on something for the B show. Anyway, it was the group of us was myself and Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff.
Mm-hmm.
We were just us three. We had our own little airplane and we were the only passengers on it all the way across the country. So that was really interesting. And we bonded and we talked a lot. And at the time, we were all big fans of Celestine Prophecy.
Oh.
Yes. And we bonded on that because we all really felt like that book and the principles behind it that we applied to our lives changed our lives. And so all three of us were sharing ideas of it. In fact, it was The Secret, not the Celestine Prophecy.
Oh, okay. Secret.
Same thing. But with the one or two of the authors that are in The Secret, because it has passages in there from a collection of philosophers, and one or two of them actually preached at this church in LA. And so Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff had been going there. Mm-hmm. And they were telling me about it and telling me how I would love it. And I'm saying, I don't know if I want to sing to Jesus with a room full of people. And they said, no, it's not about that. It's just good, positive energy. It's just the spirituality that you get from The Secret. It's just the power of love. And he said, and they go there and they hang out with the daughter of Muhammad Ali. She's one of the people there that Hulk has befriended, and I'll love her. I got to meet her. I got to meet these people. And I was thinking, like, sounds weird. Kind of sounds like a Scientology promoting or drafting kind of recruiting situation. But, I'm not opposed to maybe trying maybe like one time, maybe. And it was actually during this time, all of a sudden, boom, Hulk comes up with, he's doing this, around this time, a little bit later, but not much. It was in this time period, but I don't know, weeks, months. Hulk Hogan's Championship Celebrity Wrestling. Do you remember that show?
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
And so I get booked to be a guest on his show, and I'm teaching the celebrities the importance of having a finishing move in pro wrestling and helping each one of them come up with a move. Butterbean and Screech from Stay by the Bell, and Willis from Different Strokes, and Tiffany, and what's blonde girl's name? Debbie Gibson, and Dennis Rodman. And anyway, all of this, was like around this period of time where I was hanging around the Hulk a little bit in here, and we're still friends, but we were on that spiritual connection, like I said, and he was talking about how it had affected him. And after reading his book, there's something in there, his dark book, something about him having a gun to his head in the bathroom. And then Muhammad Ali's daughter, I believe, calls him and it saves him from making a mistake. And it's all tied in. But part of that energy transition was I was on set and my evil ex was on set at the time, and she had been going through chemo chemotherapy treatments. I don't know exactly what stage of her experience this was, but that was well known. Everyone was aware of it. And Hulk coming by and stopping to talk for a minute, saying hi, whatever. For some reason, he got on his phone and he ordered a copy of The Secret for my evil ex, like boom, 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 boom. You got to have it. It's going to help you heal. And send it. I just thought that was really cool.
Oh, wow. How about that?
Because we believed in that and what we could get from that so much that it was a really big thing. It was like Bible thumpers, they go around talking about it because they really think they got something that they got to share with you that's going to help you,
Yeah. That's it. And that's part of like the evangelicalism stuff, where it's like, it's like what you do in it. So.
This is my real American beer Hulk Hogan story.
Whoa, okay, I like it. That's a good one. David Von Boglin chimes in with another one. Before podcasts, shoots were all the rage. I love your work on You Shoot with Sean Oliver. How was it working with kayfabe commentaries and Sean?
I liked it, and I like Sean. He's a friend. He's been around throughout the years now, but I always liked the challenge of being open and candid and being ready to take on any kind of questions. Sometimes when I do interviews, they'll say, okay, now before we start, is there anything that you don't want me to bring up? And I appreciate the courtesy, but I'm like, dude, if I don't want to answer it, I'm going to answer it my own way. Like I don't need to have your interviewing skills or practices compromised or shaped to fit my special needs. I'm a pro. Let's go. So I enjoyed that. I do remember the incident where I was talking shit about New Jack, and then to Sean, and then he showed New Jack, and then I saw that. Like, what do you think about this? And I kind of felt I remember there's a little betrayal, feeling there. Like, well, that dude, like, he set me up, and then, but in the end, I mean, there was nothing that I didn't say myself. It wasn't like he put words in my mouth or whatever. So, so there's that too, about I'm not shifting the responsibility to, but maybe sharing it a little bit. And as far as him showing New Jack what I said, yeah, partially his responsibility, his doing too, absolutely.
Sean paid a little bit of that.
Put your hand, Sean.
Dang, Sean. Well, he just wrote the Todd Gordon book too. Sean did. So
what's that?
He wrote the Todd Gordon book that came out. Todd is
right, yeah. I tried to find that on Kindle the other day, and I was unsuccessful through Amazon. But I know, or I was told that it is on there, so I believe it was my mistake.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I was still trying to find it. Yeah.
Well, he does the audiobook version too, and I guess he does a great job at the voices. So
that's cool. I do most of my reading at nighttime when in bed. With a room full of who knows who, and I have the volume off. Like when I go through Instagram for a while, and then I read my Kindle for a while till my eyes get tired, and then I go to sleep. But even on the Instagram, I have the volume off. So if you're wondering if I got the joke, probably not. But I just liked your comment anyway because I support you.
Supporting. Rob's all about support. All right. Let's see. What next one do I want to do? What one do I want to get to with you? How about the American Dream, Dusty Road? Any good stories with Dusty?
Damn.
He was in ECW around the time too.
I got nothing from there.
Yeah.
Wow, how can I not have any Dusty Road story? I must have. I got to dust off some Dusty stories. I mean, I was around him a little bit in WCW when I was there in 92, 93.
Yeah.
I remember going to him with some question about my match, and me and my partner, I think it was a tag match. I'm not even sure about that, but I remember we were waiting on him to get an answer from someone else in the office, and I remember kind of like following him in there and having him present the question so that he could answer me or whatever. But I don't remember what it was, and I don't remember much interaction with him outside of that. And I was so young then that I barely remember that. There was no context to put with it. But I know that I always got along with him, shook his hand, said hi to him in passing. I don't remember if he was in WWE when I was there. I don't remember him being there at all. Not even,
maybe at the tail end he was there. Maybe as a booker, I think, or on the writing team or something.
Like when Terry Taylor was brought in, or
maybe I think like 2005, 2000.
Maybe, yeah.
I think he was around.
I think you're right. I think he was an agent for a little while. So I'm starting to dust off a few memories. I think I do remember him coming up a couple times, saying, "I got your match tonight. It's you and so." But man, nothing really sticks out that's shareable right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's all right. I think that's pretty.
And I did. I think one show for that Deep South Wrestling, which was, I guess it was a spin-off of WCW at the time when they had the Monster Factory. I believe like the students were wrestling at the Deep South territory, whatever. Of course, Dan Masters was there because he lived around there. So,
yeah.
But I remember Big Show being there, and I think I wrestled Big Show in an outdoor show.
Oh, no shit. Yeah. Man, that's pretty sweet.
And I think that was Dusty's promotion from what I understood. Although also Nick Patrick's dad had something to do with it too.
Jody Hamilton, the assassin.
Maybe he was the booker. Maybe
he might have been, because Nick runs it now. They still continue with it. He still operates it down there. So he trains stuff down there.
So this was, a long time ago, 2006 or 7.
Yeah, Nick Patrick, the master doobie roller. I heard he did Road Dogg had a story where they were driving and a car was coming on to him, and like he literally had to swerve out of the way. Nick was driving, and at the same time as he's doing this, going into the ditch, he's licking the joint closed, and like Road Dogg was just flabbergasted by it. He's like, he did it all. It was amazing. So
yeah, well, I know he was fair and balanced when it came to smoking, because Booker and myself and Nick would often travel as a triad. And like it would stand out if one of you like never contributed, because all three of us smoked a lot. Teddy Long started riding with us sometimes because he was friends with Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now I know him more, but then that's kind of how I got to know him. Was he? You guys mind if Teddy rides with us this week? But it kind of stood out that he never contributed, because we would all be like, pulling out a doobie, I was just about to pull one out, dude. I got it, cool. And then, I'd be like, there's 4 of us and we're all smoking a lot of weed, but one of us isn't contributing. And funny thing was, I would call him on it, of course, and his deal was, his wife would roll like 2 skinny little joints for him, Teddy, and then cut him in half, so he'd have like 4 skinny little ones to make that last for the whole weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long would those last you, Rob?
Not long at all, but usually Teddy wasn't offering those up. He was
he
he was,
was holding on to
he was
those.
just helping us with ours.
Yeah, that's it. What a team player.
Yeah. When you're on the road, especially back then, because weed wasn't as accessible as it is now, couldn't just buy it anywhere. Like, when you're on the road, like everything feels like, at least to me, I feel like I'm limited with the amount of everything that I have. You know what I mean? Like when I leave, I'm like, I hope I brought enough a pair of underwear. I hope I brought enough a pair of socks. But it's vitamins, it's meds, and it's fucking. It's everything. What if I didn't bring enough contact lenses? And I lose one, and I didn't bring an extra one. I got to go a whole day without being able to see. And that's how it is being on the road. So when it's like, when you're bringing what you can get away with sneaking on, and you got to stretch that out and make it last for 4 days. It balances out. If everyone else is contributing too, then it's like, all right, cool. We're smoking 4 times as much, but we have 4 times as much. But that doesn't work out when you start changing those numbers around. It doesn't work the same way at all.
Nope. Definitely not. Barry MK with the super chat. Barry MK 400. Thanks for the $5. Which brand was better to work for in WWE during the first brand split? Was it Raw or SmackDown? Do you have a preference, Rob?
Well, Raw, from the perspective of that was always considered the A show. SmackDown was always considered the B show. Sometimes we'd do the SmackDown TV taping the very next day. So it'd be like a Monday, Tuesday. The A show would be live. And then we would do Thursday's show on Tuesday. That happened a lot. And then there'd be other times where we would do live on Thursday or whatever. We'd actually be doing SmackDown live, but it was still always considered the B show. When ECW came out as a third brand, they piggybacked. So we would do Raw on Monday, and then on Tuesday it would be like an ECW / SmackDown show, where first it'd be SmackDown, and they would somehow promote ECW as being the heels on their show, and then expect after the show's over for all the fans to instantly turn into hardcore ECW fans, even though they just made us get booed on their own show in front of the same people. But anyway, A show, B show. And when I first was in WWE in 2001, we were actually doing sometimes 3 shows a night that weren't on television. So you got Monday Raw and Tuesday TV, but also we would do non-televised shows on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And this, by the way, is every week. Every week. Not once in a while, not when we got a tour coming up. This was the standard. If a Friday was off, it was definitely out of the ordinary. What would happen is sometimes our days off would become travel days, and then we wouldn't have those. For instance, one time in Europe, we did 16 out of 17 days we worked every day in a row, and so that could happen. But anyway, that was the schedule. And when I first got to WWE, there were so many shows going on. There'd be an A show, a B show, and a C show all the same night, spread out in different towns. The A show would be the bigger city, New Orleans. That would have Triple H on it, and maybe Stone Cold, Undertaker. Then there'd be a B show. And then, like I said, even a C show. So that's why a lot of times I was main eventing shows as a hardcore champion, because I elevated the belt, gave it prestige and substance that it wasn't meant to have, and also we had that many shows. So that was another factor going into that. But for those reasons, it was always better to be on the A show because you could expect to make more money and have better conditions, meaning better building, better city, bigger crowd, as opposed to being stuck in the Jefferson Parish out in the middle of Swampville for the show C at the local elementary school.
That's fucking Jim Thorpe, PA.
Yes, sir. Yeah. True stories, nothing but.
Yep.
Nothing but right here on the Real RV Day.
I tell you what. Next up,
I like the New Orleans accent. Like when I hear that, like it's so different. The Cajun accent is not like Southern at all. Like I could never fake it, but when I hear it, it's weird because it's like part French, part Southern, all just New Orleans.
It's very unique. Does Katie have any tendencies to do that sometimes? No?
No, but she can recognize it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. That's great. All right, I got another good one here. How about Sergeant Slaughter? Any good stories on Sergeant Slaughter?
All these random legends.
Random legends here. I've got a wild card for you coming up, though, Rob. It's a wild.
So I love Sarge.
Mm-hmm.
Love him. And I did a movie with him that nobody knows about a year, maybe 2 years ago. I think it was last March. That feels right. But it was a movie called The Realtor. Realtor, like a dude that or woman that sells houses.
Yeah.
A dude or dudette. And it's like a comedy, a black comedy. And when I say black comedy, I don't mean like a dark tone. It's like a lot of black people in it, and a comedy where there's a real estate office. One dude, the star of it, the lead guy, the principal actor, he sells real estate and as a side job is a pro wrestler. So had a lot of fun doing the movie. I don't think it's come out yet. I would know. It hasn't come out yet.
Oh. Ooh.
I've done a lot of projects that haven't come out, might not come out, whatever. But Sarge is in that besides myself, as is Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh. I see it right here, Rob. I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, yeah.
Hold on, let me pull up my
I don't
screen.
know if there's any other stars.
Sure.
Had a lot of fun with it though, and met
there's you. You're the Dominator.
Yeah. How about that?
And
how about that?
There's the coach. Let's see. Is there another? Let's see if we find another wrestler on here. I'm not seeing another one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, Jake Roberts. He's a ref. Yep, you said that. Tommy Davidson's in it from In Living Color. Sweet. That's awesome.
In Living Color. Cool. Yeah, that guy Lion Beckwith plays the star, and he's a wrestler / realtor, and trying to keep his worlds apart, but they all come crashing down on him all together at the same time.
Man,
anyway, Sarge was like really cool. I got to know him a little bit there. Know like what a good guy he is and how fun he is to be around. He had me laughing so hard. This guy, the star there, Lion Beckwith, was in another life a male dancer like Chippendale or whatever, and we were all at this restaurant, and Sarge and I were splitting a bottle or two of wine between the two of us, and Lynn was telling some braggadocious stories. In fact, I'll quote him.
Okay.
Because he's probably said this more than once. This was a quote of his. He's talking about all the wild sex parties that come with being a male dancer, this and that, right? And he says to us, "You've heard of threesomes and foursomes? Well, I've had housesomes."
Housesomes?
That was his line.
Orgy?
Muslims. But anyway, good guy. I had fun with him and stuff. But he's having the I'm gonna impress the bros kind of talk or whatever. And Sarge, who I really didn't know at this point. I mean, I don't know him that well. This is really my first time even hanging out with him a lot, and I like him and his vibe right away and stuff. But he said one thing right here that all of a sudden made me understand him and his humor on a different level, and it bonded us so much. And dude's heard of threesomes and foursomes. Well, I've had house-somes, right? And he keep and he's on this, right? And so I was like, well, he goes, I don't want to. I'm sure you have. I don't mean to disrespect you or whatever. And he goes, but see this guy right here? And he points to me. Uh-huh. He's been with a lot of women. And it was so funny because I was just like, where did that come from? Why did he even say that? And then right away, it got the intended response. And Lynn, his energy kind of went, and it was like, oh, I'm sure he has. I bet you got crazy stories. And it just made me laugh. I just was laughing so hard just that Sarge would even say that unfounded statement based on nothing except for just being hilarious.
You've been with a lot of women.
Yeah, I know. I don't mean to. I don't know what he said. I mean to bust your bubble or whatever. But he was kind of saying it you think you've been with a lot. You got shit compared to him.
He's got you beat, buddy.
That's funny. It's so funny. But I love Sarge. So that's my funny Sarge story.
That's awesome. He's got a great thing that he does during meet and greets. Apparently, you pay him, he puts you in a Cobra clutch, and then he gives you a coin that says you got put in a Cobra clutch. Buddy.
That's awesome.
Isn't that a cool idea?
Yeah, he's such a good guy. What a good guy.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Oh, man. I've only met him briefly, at one of the Starcasts or something. But he was a nice.
I just saw him 2 weeks ago. Where was I? Wherever I was signing 2 weeks ago. No, Mississippi, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Had to be. Yeah.
Jackson, down in Jackson, huh? Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I love seeing him. Whenever he's around, I'm gonna try to get with him. Try to sit by him.
Yeah, he's a good.
Try to get his energy. And I feel, kind of like Hillbilly Jim. Whenever I see him, I don't know why, but I just I want to hug him, and I feel like with Hillbilly Jim, it's I watched him when I was a little kid, and so so I don't know him at all, Seen him for 2 minutes out of my entire career. Standing behind him, maybe in line at Hall of Fame or something quick, not knowing him at all. So he's always going to be that same guy, that I looked up to as a kid with him and Uncle Elmer dancing with a pig.
Yeah.
Then he looks the same, though. I mean, at least last few times I've seen him, I'm like, this is exactly the way I remember him looking.
Man, it's fucking Hillbilly Jim right there. And it's him with Sarge, too. Sarge looks like Sarge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Same.
Funny story about Hillbilly Jim. He came to the local wrestling promotion in Pittsburgh, KSWA. This is before I started going to the shows. But my college buddies told me.
Put your finger at me, sir.
Hey, you listen.
That's a good point. Yeah, good point.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm very emphatic with the points. But so Hillbilly Jim was there, and they showed him the food spread that they had backstage, and he's like, "Oh, look at all the food they got for Hillbilly Jim." It's pretty funny shit.
Yeah. Awesome. What are you guys gonna eat?
Yeah. Okay. What was I gonna do next? Oh, yes. Somebody asked about Get Blitzed, so I guess I should do the ad read. What's up, Rob? I'm smoking now. Does Rob like to get blitzed? Let's talk about it. Where's the ad? I prefer to smoke my cannabinoids, but there's a lot of pros to being able to drink it. A lot of people don't like to smoke for a lot of reasons, and it's an easy way to get it in.
and good company. Sure, as opposed to disliking them, I would say I like them, but I don't use them or drink cannabinoids, or even eat them on a regular basis.
Oh, wow.
I mostly smoke, and usually I pass on edibles. Like um, whenever people are excited about it, bro, I brought you some edibles. It's like, well, I don't normally eat candy or fudge or cookies, and that's normally
What they are.
what they are going to be. So I don't make an exception just because there's some question mark amount of weed in each one, that. So, but there's a time for everything. That's just, I normally don't, but maybe if I'm getting on a flight and I'm hoping to sleep, and I think it'll help me feel more comfortable in my seat so I can sleep better, then I'm not opposed to it. But so yeah, regularly, boom. You wanna tell them about Blitz?
Let's tell them about Get Blitzed. Yes, guys. Mickey Ray Sinatra and Courtney, thank you so much for Get Blitzed. Get-blitz.com. If you go there, you can use promo code RVD, get 15% off. It's Delta 9. It's Lit Aid Nano Infused THC syrup and is 100% legal in all 50 states. If you're watching us and not listening to us, there's a QR code you can scan on the screen as well. But they got a lot of good different flavors on there. Blue raspberry. They got key lime pie. That's Kevin Nash's favorite. They also have black cherry. They have pina colada, tiger's blood, and I believe one more that I'm missing. But go and check it out. Go to get-blitz.com. Use promo code RVD, and you'll get 15% off your order. It was a huge hit at WrestleCon, actually, during WrestleMania weekend. Godfather liked it. I gave mine to Fonzie. I think he liked it, too. It was a big hit around that area. So definitely go and check it out. Get-blitz.com, promo code RVD, 15% off, guys. So there you go. We're also sponsored by Blue Chew. Oh, that's the wrong one. Blue Chew, there it is. BlueChew.com. Try it for free with promo code RVD, and you'll get it free. Your first trial free, and have the best sex of your life going, guys. Keep it going.
Whoa!
Boom.
Is that guaranteed?
Not guaranteed, but it'll keep you energized and ready to go.
I'm holding you responsible for that. I'm holding you accountable for that.
Yeah. Oh boy, yes. Well, it just gets ready. Just take it whenever an opportunity arises, day or night. And use promo code RVD.
Opportunity arises. Was that like a subliminal little heart on there?
Yep, that's it. No double entendre there. We got going.
I thought about waiting and opening my box of Kratom on air because it seems like we've been doing that for several weeks now. And
we did the unboxing last week.
Yeah, it's like maybe like a regular segment on the show now. I'll try to, but I open a lot of boxes like all week long, and might have to wait for something. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, this Kratom is really good. So hopefully I'm going to be talking to them. And, when it comes to, I said, I don't drink my cannabinoids, but drinking Kratom, I find, especially if they're nano emulsified, which usually they're not, which is a really special way of delivery method for it to get into your body. I'm impressed with what I got right now, and I am hoping soon to have Kratom, and that I definitely want that in a drinkable form, in the powder form, probably the capsules. I don't know if you can nano emulsify the powder or not. You can the gummies, but anyway, I already opened my box, and I got other boxes too and shit, but people like opening boxes, right? I'm going to start fucking, I don't know, but hopefully they'll be from sponsors every week. Yeah, just send us shit. Sponsors, send me shit at the following P.O. box. I don't even make it easy. Like people are like, do you have an address I can send you shit? I'm like, not really.
Nope.
That's just like, who do I contact to book you? It's like,
I don't know.
But that is by design, though.
Yeah, there you go. That's good strategy. I like it.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, David Von Boglen reminded me. It's the awesome grape flavor. Okay, heck yeah. Check it out. And he also had Mickey Ray Sinatra's an awesome guy. I love the grape. So there you go. Try out the grape, guys. Promo code RVD.
Sweet.
Sweet. Mr. Marijuana chimes in again. Another $5. Thanks, man. RVD, I have a super strong lungs, and you taught me how to be a healthy weed smoker. I bong hit, but I do yoga and just keep fit. Any cool alliance yarns? Alliance yarn.
I don't know what an alliance yarn is.
I don't either. I was gonna ask.
It sounds like something you would use, to keep your spirit aligned somehow. Maybe like a ball of yarn, and you throw it around like a cat, but with your eyes closed. And if you're on the right path, it'll just, or maybe you read it, the message it leaves after you bat it around the room. I don't know. So my question's probably going to be a negatory, but that's one thing I mentioned. A lot of people, for obvious reasons or different reasons, don't want to smoke weed. But in a lot of people, I don't expect you to believe me on this, but even if common sense tells you that having smoke in your lungs just can't be healthy, I don't agree with that, because I think that there's magical smoke that actually, as I was told, goes into the deep pockets of your alveoli that are normally unattainable because of wrinkles or being deflated. When you really take it in, the THC goes in there, and it, as I was told by the Prince of Pot, Mark Emery, it scoops out the impurities that are in your lungs there, thereby cleaning them out in a way that otherwise wouldn't happen. And so all this stuff, any toxins, any remnants of anything, medicine residue, I don't know, whatever could be in there, stuff you breathe in, paint particles, it's just going to sit in there if you don't. That's why you cough, right? Because you get shit out that's on its way in, and hopefully it doesn't make its way all the way to your lungs, because you got the little cilia hairs in your throat, and that's one of your first lines of defense. And you cough it up. Sometimes it feels like it goes all the way down. That's why I always beat my chest like a gorilla. It usually turns a lot of heads, but I put a lot into it when it's really deep in there. Anyway, through the normal process of taking really deep, big hits that really inflate your lungs up, you clean your lungs out. And there's no evidence anywhere of lung damage being caused from smoking cannabis. So that's why I can sit here and say, you don't have to believe me. I don't expect you to believe me, but I know that athletes like Michael Phelps, where he's not only known as the greatest athlete on the earth because of winning 7 Olympic gold medals and whatever all he's accomplished, but swimming is something where you particularly do need very healthy lungs. It has a lot to do with your respiratory system, how much you breathe, how well you exchange air with the environment. You know what I'm saying? So I am going to stand against the many that would say, well, common sense just tells me, having any smoke, can't be that good for you. I beg to differ. And as you guys probably know, I'm a decently heavy smoker. When I'm home, I go through 5 to 10 doobies a day. If it's just me, it depends, on what I'm doing, how busy I am, whatever. Point is, I've gotten my lungs looked at by 2 different doctors, and you don't even have to believe me about that, because I'm going to figure out how to take images from that, because I have a CD that's got the scans. I have 2 different doctors' reports. You can read the reports, but any critic is going to say, well, reading the reports doesn't really say a lot on there. It just says that it doesn't notice any abnormalities, and they look healthy. That alone is saying a lot. A lot of people just automatically assume, well, of course, Rob's lungs have to be somewhat compromised a little. He's been smoking for so many years. But no, I will have a breath holding contest with you, or use functions where you have to be able to breathe, like wrestling or swimming or running or stuff like that. So, Mr. Marijuana said that I taught him how to have healthy lungs and an active lifestyle. And he is talking about things like that, stretching your lungs and just being active, being healthy. And his lungs are probably fine as well.
Yeah. And yeah, that's so funny. It's like it's synchronicity right there. Because literally, I mean, obviously I do the show with you here, so I think about stuff. But literally, I was just thinking about that topic today, how you were talking about your lungs and everything like that before we were.
Yeah, so I got a CD with the image, and they say that only doctors have the equipment to look at the image on the CDs. So I got to talk to some people I know in the business and see if they can make a copy of the image for me or whatever. And I would love to have that accessible for discussion for this very fucking topic,
How about that? Yeah, how about that? Hey, we also discovered what he meant by alliance yarn. He meant an alliance, a story from the alliance, the WCW, ECW alliance, any alliance stories.
A yarn is a story?
Yarn, like, hey, spin a yarn. Spin that alliance yarn. Spin that yarn about ECW. Yeah, that's a phrase.
If you remember during that time when Stone Cold Steve Austin was the boss, and he and I started our little program together, with me maybe being the unruly one, besides being the most over guy.
The most over one, yeah, for sure.
For sure. But besides that, the way that I took or didn't take his directions, a lot of that was like just impromptu. For example, we were in one building during that time, and I had something happen in the daytime where I was rubbing my eye, something got in there or whatever, and pretty soon I had this huge, swollen, ugly, Hunchback of Notre Dame eye, it was so bad and swollen. And I was like, oh my God, I can't be on TV now. What am I doing? And who's got eye drops? Somehow I went to an eye doctor. I think maybe we were attached to a mall or something. And I actually got medicated eye drops. And they said, to find somewhere dark and where I could just close my eyes and rest and be undisturbed for a while, and cross my fingers, and maybe it would go away to a point to where I didn't look quite so freakish, because they were putting me out there either way.
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck. and with me, of course, I'm going to go out there. I'm not going to say, no, I can't. Oh my God, my hair's messed up. You know what I mean? So I was going to do it, but at the same time, it looked really bad, and it was really aggravated, and it looked infected. It was all fucked up. But I took the eye drops, and I'm laying there, and I'm resting, and I took a nap in the daytime, during the TV. And I remember getting up from there and feeling better, and I looked around, I looked in the mirror, and the swelling had gone down quite a bit. Maybe I still had some redness or whatever. Put some more drops in there, and I'm like, I'm feeling a lot better. And I had it on my mind. There was a gym in the building, and I knew I wanted to try to get a workout in if I could, because that's hard to do when you're traveling on the road. And when they're right there at the arena, boom, I'm laying on my back there, and I'm trying to get some some flies in with the dumbbells. And I'm like, sweet, this is going to be good. And as I'm doing that, somebody comes into the room and they're like, hey, Rob, and you know, you're supposed to be out there. And I said, oh, okay, when? And they're like, right now, like you're supposed to be in the ring. And I was like, what? And he said, Steve Austin's out there right now on TV asking for you. And I was like, oh, shit. Damn it. And I put the weights down and I'm making my way there the whole time going, man, this is going to be a huge deal now. They're going to make this into, you know, fucking embarrass me and fucking fine me or who knows what they're going to do. But this is not going to be cool. You know, why didn't somebody get me before? They knew I was up there wrestling with my eye and bam, bam. And I come out there and Steve Austin says, what, you need a fucking watch? You remember that?
Yeah.
You all remember that. I don't think he said fucking watch. I don't know. He said you need a watch?
You need a watch?
Whatever his words were, that's the story behind that.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, yeah, I'll take a watch.
I'll have a watch. I got time.
Yeah, so that wasn't like something that was some genius writer's idea or whatever. I was late to lunch on that one.
Late to lunch on that. Have you seen Austin's Instagram with his cat? Have you seen
No, sir.
videos? No, that's fucking great. He's got two cats. One is named Poncho, one's named Macho, after Macho Man, and they live together. And Steve just films videos of them all the time, and it's very fucking funny. It's like
cool.
Yeah, it's definitely worth filming out. Yeah. Hey, speaking of ice cold, search RVD 420 glass for his collectible glass products. Says Marco. That's right, guys. Rob has some glass. You go to rvd420.com and you can get these great looking glass. He unboxed them last week. We got a couple of images. Check it out. There's the one you unboxed first. Then we have this one here. That's a good one. But then you got the classic. Speaking of the Alliance, speaking of some classic outfits.
Oh,
look at that, baby. That's
what a collectible piece.
Collectible piece. Even if you don't smoke, they're cool. I would love to have one too. Yeah. So go to RV.
And you can put plants in it too.
Yeah, there you go.
Why not?
Not just the one plant, the other plants.
I was told to expect 9 new pieces coming in the next couple of weeks too. So pretty stoked about that.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. So go to rvd420.com and that's Greek Glass. They're a great group of guys there. They do some good work and be sure to help and support them. Pittsburgh based too. Right? A little additive incentive for you.
That's right. They are, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. For sure.
You ever go by their office and just say hi?
No, I got to touch base with them. I was Facebook messaging Marco earlier today, so I'm going to get the clip of you unboxing stuff and send it to him too. So that's going to be the gameplay. Mr. Marijuana chimes in with another $10. Thanks a lot, man.
Whoa, bro, that's our new financer.
That's it, man.
That's sponsor, Mr. Marijuana, for sure.
Marijuana. I'm automatically going to enter you in the Fonzie contest too, just for doing that.
Boom. So, you said everyone that's super chat, right?
Everybody that super chats with Fonzie in it gets entered into it. He hasn't done it yet, but I'm going to enter him anyways. So you got it.
Everyone that super chats and has a question about Fonzie, you enter it?
Yeah, I would enter it too for that.
Know what you're saying, or I'm misunderstanding?
No, if they just put Fonzie in the super chat with it.
Oh, gotcha.
Get entered in there, yeah. But I'm going to anyways.
He needs like 4 or 5 entries in there.
Right, he's got a couple of them in there already now. So we'll have to. I'll get you set up with a couple of them there, Mr. Marijuana. But he says, yeah, this is just a comment, by the way, wrestling fan and RVD fan. Smoked when I was 19, bro. Rob, you're still teaching me. Sometimes I'm coughing my lungs up, but what a good hit. You are the man. I believe you. Thank you so much. So
yeah. Coughing is good for you. It's not necessarily a sign of something good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's good for you. That's why you cough. That's why you sneeze, is to get the shit out of your body. So it's a good thing. I'm not saying that everyone that coughs is healthy, because a lot of people cough because their lungs are fucked up or weak or filled with water, or they have pneumonia or a cold or whatever. So there's a lot of health issues that cause you to cough, but the actual art of coughing even though, you know, you may have a sore throat and it may not seem like a good thing. It's coughing, sneezing, farting.
In with the good, out with the
You
bad.
know, yeah. Well, yes, sir. Just like you said.
Yeah. Dumb and Dumber taught me that. In with the good, out with the bad. In with the good, out with the bad. Mr. Marijuana, again, $5. Jeez, you are definitely getting entered in this thing, man. He said, ha, also when you did the Triple H impression. Thank you. It was good to see you versus Steve. Cool story. My mom just said, thank you for teaching me. So how about that? Yeah.
What did I teach? I wonder.
You're lungs and giving all that stuff in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I really, you know, short of having evidence, I can only give my belief and my understanding based on all of my research and experience. But I hope to follow that up with evidence of at least one case, that being myself. And, you know, like I said, I mean, we can definitely find a huge list of successful athletes that are in extremely great respiratory condition. So that's a given as well. But that's just one of those things. They've probably not done a long-term experiment on it because not a lot of people have as much passion as I do. I would love to. Matter of fact, I've had a documentary in mind for forever that I actually made a demo reel of at one point, and then I can't remember what it got pushed to the back burner or something. I think I talked to a few people about it, but anyway, this would have been relative to it because I wanted to be the guinea pig, and I still do.
Yeah.
You know, like super high me, but with someone that really knows what they're doing and test everything from the volume capacity in my lungs to, you know, heart rate, blood pressure, everything, you know, on smoking and off smoking. And then maybe on again or whatever, because you go through the changes. But anyway, say something else. I'm tired of hearing my tongue move.
All right. I got another American themed wrestler for you. Here we go. How about Mr. Hacksaw Jim Duggan? Hacksaw.
Oh. Yeah. The randomness.
Mm-hmm. I got one. The wild. Wait till you get the wild card, Rob.
Man, I unfortunately don't have anything available to share. I love Jim and his wife. They're super cool. I see them quite a bit at conventions and stuff, you know, and that's we're fellow lighter enthusiasts, you know. Yeah, you got a lighter, bro? Can I borrow yours? You know, we we both do that. He likes to. So anyway, always happy to see him again. Watched him when I was a kid, and I don't have any funny story. Nothing, you know. But what's crazy, what I think of right now, is I'm thinking we all remember hearing that Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Duggan got busted together, and they had marijuana on them, and they were in a rivalry, and that killed the kayfabe for a lot of us fans that were maybe in my era and a little younger. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what year that was, but I feel like that was in the heart of my fandom when I was watching these guys, you know, WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 3. I think it was like around then, I think. But these guys, you know, were USA and America, hack through it. And so it was like, you know, a real rival where we really believed in the characters. It was all about the characters back then. So that bust, when that got in the newspapers that they were riding together, for a lot of us, man, that confused us. It crushed us, you know, and it changed how much faith and commitment we had in believing these angles anymore. And on top of that, weed.
What?
They're smoking marijuana and they're wrestlers. Oh my God. I hope they don't all smoke marijuana, you know. Yeah. And then here RVD goes and does it this many years later. And then I was the world champion. Did I ever compare that before? I don't know. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Iron Sheik pulled over because I think they had more than just the weed, maybe coke. I don't know. Now I want to look it up and see exactly when it was and what the story was. But anyway, fair comparison, I guess. Me being the WWE wrestler and the character that I was. And that being so public, just like everyone finding out, just like Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. What they did broke kayfabe. What I did just killed ECW.
Well, I have the story here, Rob. It took place in 1987.
Okay, thank you. So I'm only 16 years old. Wow.
So this is according to Sportster, so it's like a listicle thing. But let me take it for what you will, guys. This is what it says. Unbeknownst to Doug, so he told him that he had a small amount of weed in the car, which prompted the cop to search the vehicle and their bags. Unbeknownst to Duggan, the Iron Sheik had cocaine in his bags, and they were both arrested. With Duggan getting let go quickly, but the Sheik getting charged with a felony. So
wow. Okay. Damn. So because I looked up to those guys, that's why I followed in Hacksaw Jim Duggan's footsteps, and later on got busted for marijuana myself, and people think I got fired. So that's really Hacksaw Jim Duggan's fault.
He set the precedent.
Oh! So thanks, Jim.
We're gonna sound drop that, Rob. We're gonna sound like that one. That's what's gonna happen.
Damn. The Ho train.
Yeah, that's right.
We need an amalgam T-shirt of those two.
I know we do.
Saying the Ho train.
Apparently,
something there, bro. There's something there.
In Pittsburgh today, apparently at a 7-Eleven, some guy tried to hold up a store with a 2x4. Apparently, he came in there and did it. And Jim Duggan's supposed to be here, I think, this weekend or next weekend. I can't remember. But
holy crap!
He's setting precedent for a lot of stuff going on. Jim Duggan's all over the place.
You know, Jim, you can't get the RVD 7-Eleven Slurpee cup anymore at 7-Eleven. That was a long time ago. Now you got to get it at RVD's eBay store, I think.
Ooh,
probably.
I might search for that, Rob. I might scoop it up. Steve Soleil, thanks for the $5. I spent all my 20s trying to get in wrestling and became a realtor at 30, so I'm very interested in the realtor movie.
Right, nice. Yeah, I'm sure. I bet you'll be able to relate to it.
Yeah, that's fucking great. That's awesome.
That is funny. We filmed that in Baltimore at that wrestling arena / school that I always, if I'm not wrong, isn't that MCW in Baltimore?
Yes, you're right. Danny McDivitt is the.
Yes. So what's the other one that they have TV and they're not MCW? Or are they? Is there two? Because it's like there's one that people talk about, and I always think they're talking about Baltimore, but they're talking about Music City or some shit, maybe.
You're not thinking Al Snow's thing, OVW, right?
No, sir. There's another
Monster
Factory. No, there's an MSW or MCW or something, or there was. I don't know if they're still running, but
it's a televised thing.
Yeah.
MLW. Are you thinking MLW?
Yeah, MLW. Yeah.
Yeah, MLW. Them.
That's what it is. I give them mixed up with MCW. Okay.
Yeah, they're based out of technically New York, I think.
Probably Major League Wrestling, right?
Major League Wrestling, exactly. I'm their social media guy. So I should have knew that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Let's see.
But anyway, that's just since he chipped in. That's my addition to the realtor story. It was a lot of fun, and we filmed it there at that place.
Baltimore's an interesting city. I kind of like it. It's the harbor's cool. I liked it. I was there for one of the AEW papers. Cool. Jimmy Seafood's really good too.
Yes, we went there afterwards.
Yeah, Jimmy Seafood's great. Mr. Marijuana again, $10.
Whoa, bro!
Dang. He says you're welcome.
He's like making it rain on us.
He is. He's definitely like partying down here.
We're his bitches.
That's it, man. Been following RVD since ECW. I follow your RVDology. It prepared me to look after my mom. Huntington's is like Parkinson's. Any cool Raven story? Both you guys are effing epic. Oh, Raven. Quote the Raven, Rob.
Right. I'm trying to detach myself from one story that I don't want to share. I'm trying to create a gap, so I want something to fill in this void. A different time period. Oh, here's something.
All right.
So Katie, maybe about a year and a half ago, Katie saw an ad that they're locally here in Las Vegas trying to put together a roller derby team.
Yeah.
And she thought it sounded fun. And they were having tryouts. And so we went to it. I went with her. You know, it's like there's a lady, really nice lady, who runs it. And she used to be, in her heyday, a competitor in roller derby, and she's trying to put together a team, and she has a whole track in her backyard, like Kill Aikens had the ring in his backyard.
Yeah.
So Katie, she's in there, you know, learning how to skate or whatever, and I'm just checking out the backyard, whatever. Well, Katie has been going back there. She, you know, became part of the team. That's where she met Dee, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
Yes. And Lolly, it's not Lolly. I say Lolly, but it sounds like Lolly, but it's Ollie or Holly or Molly or Lolly Doodle all day. Let's go Lolly.
I like Lolly.
She had like I don't know, it was a Christmas party. I think it was something like that. And so, you know, I went over there after, you know, Katie and Dee and everyone knew each other a lot more and stuff. And when we were over there, I'm looking at pictures on her house, in her house, you know, like, whoa, that's you when she used to be young and hot, you know, like forever ago, and like, dude, look at you. And then I look over there and there's a picture of you want to take a guess?
Raven.
Scotty Flamingo, right there with a pair of roller skates on. And he came to that lady's house right here in Vegas years ago when he thought he'd give roller derby a try. And so I took a picture of it on the wall and sent it to him. And of course, he was like, you know, where did you find that? You know, like he couldn't put it together, like where that would have happened until I told him. But that's a hell of a coinkydink. I'm in the lady's house over here, Dee's aunt's house, and there's a picture of a pre-Raven Johnny Polo era days of that dude. The hell is his real name? Does he have a real name?
Scott Levy.
Scott Levy, yeah. Okay, yeah. Johnny Polo days, it looked like, though.
The Johnny Polo days.
Yeah, this would have been early 90s at some point when he was there with the rollerblades on. But he said, yeah, he was considering doing it or whatever. And boom, there you go. There's your story.
Yeah, how about that? That's a good one. Roller Derby Raven. Wow.
Yeah.
Voodoo Vic, regular, $2. Thanks for you. He says, any books or videos you recommend for meditation?
Meditation. I don't know any videos myself. And For meditation, you know, I don't know what I would. I don't know of a recommendation that I would put my name on to tell you. I don't know that I've read a book on meditation, so I don't want to steer you wrong and just name a book that I've heard a lot about, because I don't think I've ever actually read a book on it. You know, I went through and broke it down, I think last week or the week before or something, like for a while, about my favorite way to do it. And of course there's different levels, and for me, you know, the best is to try to achieve a feeling of temporary inner peace, where you're not thinking of anything, any details, not your ass hurting from the ground you're sitting on, and not that song that keeps going on in your head, and you've reached a point where you're not even worried about the sweat rolling down your body, so you feel like your body is almost a vessel, and you feel almost detached from it in a sense where you're not constricted to feeling physical restraints, but you feel more like you are floating or falling, like falling through nothingness. Maybe floating is a better way to describe it, where you're moving without any obstacles in your way, and it's like any thoughts clinging to you. That's always the ultimate goal. The closer you get there, at least from my experience, the clearer your mind can become. And as I described before, when I used to do that a lot when I was kickboxing, and I would have limitless amount of time to spend meditating, man, as a kid, you know, there's no limits. Like every day is just as long as you want it to be, it seems like. Anyway, mind was sharper, clearer. The machine ran so much smoother. My reflexes were so much quicker. And that's because of the process that I would use of going and identifying everything externally with every sense that I'm using over and over till nothing new is going to enter my senses unless I notice it. Like, oh, when I hear a car, this, because I've already identified everything so much internally, same thing. And after a while, you can reach the sense where you've removed any clutter in your brain that would slow down your reaction from a thought. So without that, it feels more like instantaneously you think, you know, and boom, and you act in a way that's really cool. And that's the only way I know of actually getting there and achieving that. So I can't recommend a book, but I can tell you to listen to what I just said, get comfortable, and if you have to be committed to not moving, eventually you won't want to move. And that's maybe I should put that in a book, but that's what I can tell you.
That's good. Heck yeah. You talked about it a couple of weeks ago too, and you went in depth about meditation process.
And basically the same thing, yeah.
So take a look at that episode too if you want a little bit more insight.
Yeah. Now, for some people, it's just, you know, putting on like a white noise or something and just closing your eyes and trying hard to not think about all the stuff that's racing in your brain. That's a form of meditation too, and that can be good for you. That's such a different level than going in way deep like I was just talking about. But, you know, you kind of got to start somewhere.
Absolutely. Mr. Marijuana, $10 again. Geez, thanks, man. Talking the whole effing show.
Yeah. We got to start showing a little boob, I think.
I know, right? That's it. We're going to be the other kind of live stream going on. Spend some dollars to hear these cool stories. Maddie mixed with Mr. Monday Night is my story behind Mr. Marijuana. Hey, how about that? RVD fan.
Maddie mixed with Mr. Monday Night. Okay, cool.
All right, I like it. Thanks for the cough advice, he says. All right, Rob, you ready for the wild card? The American wrestlers I have for you.
I believe I am.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know how good I did on.
You did great on those ones.
Okay.
This one's gonna be an interesting one. See if you got a story for this guy. How about Abraham Lincoln?
Well, I didn't remember his title right.
Well, that's the wrong song.
Yeah. Damn, he had the spinner belt. Well, I know he was a wrestler, and I feel like he was that he, what do they call it when you're part of it but not the direct person committing the crime? You're
accomplice?
Yeah, I feel like he was that's a good one. I feel like he was an accomplice possibly to vandalism of a cherry tree, maybe at one point. Or
was that George Washington? He was. I think he chopped down a cherry tree. Was that George Washington? Maybe. But yeah, he was a wrestler. I can't remember.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm handling business right here too for this week. Getting my flights for this weekend. I don't have yet. I don't really. I mean, I can't think of. So, what would I say about Abraham Lincoln in my life? I think of him in a heroic way because he gets credit for wanting to end slavery back when a lot of people didn't want to end slavery. So, automatically I think of the Civil War. I think of the Emancipation Act and him fighting for, even though there may have been other reasons, but him accomplishing the freedom, for and the release of slaves, and I mean, they still had it still wasn't like people would hire them, and the people enjoyed them being out free, and they could get houses and anything like that. But yeah, being free. So I think of him as that. So I think of him as being sensible, because I just think of all these redneck, really, really super conservative, not wanting to let go of anything that was ever fought for in history under false pretenses or error. I just picture these guys being like so ignorant and redneck to think that that's not the right move. Hell no. Hell no. You're going to take my farm workers away from me? You're going to have to do that on my dead body. I got all these crops need to be picked. Hell no. I just picture that mentality, just like people now, that are really white supremacists. I mean, you got to look at it. I mean, some of those people, I believe, could potentially be intelligent and still have that strange hate at the same time. But from where I am, it's a basic way of thinking.
Yeah, it's very much so. Definitely. Yep. Abe's probably my favorite president, even though I wasn't around for him.
And you know what? He looks damn good on that penny.
He does, doesn't he? That's why they keep the penny around, I think. Looks damn good. Ghost Malone, 420 or 90, he says, for the $10. Hey, Rob, I posted a video of you doing the 450 splash. When was the last time you did a 450 splash,
Last time I did a 450 splash was in 2012.
Oh.
Yep. And I'm wrestling Kenny King, dropping the title to him, which I'm not too happy about. And I go up to the top rope, you know, and Kenny's in position there for the 5-star frog splash, right?
Yeah.
He's expecting the 5-star frog splash. I think I just did the setup. Maybe I caught his foot, step over kick or rolling thunder, whatever. You know, fucking boom. I jump up there like I'm going to do the 5-star frog splash. And I got this motivation that struck me at the moment. And I'm like, you know, when's the last time you did a 450? Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking like, it has been a long, long time. Like I know I can do it. I'm eating shit anyway. I should do it at least once every several years, at least once if it's every 8-10 years. If it's been that long, what's the difference, you know? And I don't know if I did the thumbs maybe, and I jumped up and tucked and opened up, and Kenny rolled out of the way. And when I opened up, my face bounced off the mat so hard that I knocked myself silly. And I was out on my feet. And I'm sure I looked like I was just doing the most ridiculous oversell, but I had spaghetti legs. And I could not find up. It was like I was trying to stand, and I could not find up. I'm sure there's footage of this. It felt like it lasted a lot longer than I'm sure it really did, but it felt like I was struggling to try to stand up. And Kenny grabbed me and like boom, hit me with whatever his finish was. I couldn't remember the match, and afterwards. I knew that I was concussed, but I knew that I felt fine, but I had a big gap in my memory loss. And Dixie Carter comes up to me, you know, and she says, "How are you feeling?" And I said, "Oh, I feel great." I said, "I feel fine, but I kind of knocked myself out, and I can't remember. I don't remember the end of the match." And she's looking at me. She says, but you do remember telling me this like 2 minutes ago, right?" And I was like, "I didn't talk to you." She's like, "Go see the doctors right now."
Go to the doctor.
All right, yeah. There's really not nothing they can do. You know what I mean? It's just that's one of those things that happens. But that's only the second time. Out of all my self-diagnosed concussions, that is only the second time that I was actually out and had a memory loss. In this one, I wasn't out like a corpse, like a dead body. I was actually out on my feet. Yeah. But that's the only second time that's ever happened. The other one, I wasn't even in the business yet.
Wow, really?
That's the only one out of all of them where what was I going to say? I had that. Yeah, I guess what I was going to say was because I noticed I said my self-diagnosed concussions. That one was diagnosed. Probably the only one. That was probably the only diagnosed concussion that I've had. Probably.
Really? Wow.
Well, no, that's not true. I guess the one when I got the double vision, I mean, you could say that was diagnosed as a concussion as well. So, because they have long-term concussion symptoms after it, but I mean, I had already diagnosed that one myself, but both of them. But yeah, no, twice then. So two that I can think of, and I'm pretty sure those are the only two because it was not something where after the match, we would go to the trainer and say, "Hey, everything was spinning there for a little bit." You just wouldn't bother doing it because it was part of the job.
Right.
Like I said, this is the only time in the whole business where I was out. It's usually just something where double vision or slow motion or things are spinning or doing that. It's usually some kind of something happening that goes away real quick. Not a memory loss, usually not a big out. And so, and then same worth going and telling on yourself about it because you're fine by the time you get down the hallway anyway.
Yeah. Jeez, oh man. Yeah, concussions are rough stuff. Hey, thanks for the $2. We actually talked about hating fireworks at the beginning of the show, so tune back into that. And we go in depth about what.
I'm surprised. I've only heard a few so far.
Yeah, I haven't heard any. I closed the windows because of the rainstorm, but yeah, I heard nothing.
That's by the one thing that one perspective that I want to point out: fireworks and residents illegally lighting fireworks. It's one of those laws where people don't think it's necessarily bad to break the law. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People choose which laws they want to break, and then they judge you for breaking laws that they think are worse. It's something. Yeah.
That is true. It's people like, they're fireworks. It's nothing. Like you think about it. That is a very common mindset. I think.
Yeah.
Man, Mr. Marijuana, another $5. Thanks a lot. He says, plenty of booze.
Glad you're with us tonight. Dude.
Yeah, man. Jeez. Got me.
How many people do we have, by the way? Usually you give us a number.
So we have 2,500 in right now. Last week we had almost 10 grand.
Cool.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, I wondered if a lot of people would be out partying or doing fireworks or whatever, but that's cool that we got some people with us.
Good folks tuning in on RVD's Twitter, on his YouTube channel, and at OneTrueSportTV.com. So be sure to.
Nothing but good folks in the Van Dam fam.
That's it, guys. That's it. Mr. Marijuana says, got me Mrs. Wednesday to play with like Rob. Any Bam Bam or New Jack stories? I do flips in the pool. My 450 pool is a bong. Pool is a bong. So, Bam Bam stories. Obviously, you had that classic match with them.
Right. I don't think I have anything out of the ring. I have a couple that I would rather not share. I really liked wrestling with Bam Bam. I liked that he was old school, and I liked that he would give receipts. If I was stiff with him, bam, he'd be stiff with me right back, and then we'd go back to work. And I love that. Not everybody could do that without getting their feelings hurt or without without throwing them off their game or whatever. But that's like an old school way of doing it. It's tit for tat, and definitely not waiting and talking shit afterwards about a potato that happened in the ring. Just solve it right there, Bam. Oh yeah. Bam. And I've always done that. A lot of guys, when we talk afterwards and laugh at it, they said, I knew it was coming. They expect it. That's a way of doing business. And I really liked that about Bam Bam. When I think that this was probably before my first live wrestling show that I went to as a fan. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think so. Definitely really early. I was super excited to go to the Kellogg Center to watch wrestling, and I think this was going to be my first live show, which if it was, this was also when the seed was planted and I got the idea that I wanted to dedicate my life towards and become a professional wrestler. When I was at my house, my parents' house, ready to go, had my coat on. I don't remember who was giving us a ride. So I think somebody was picking us up. I think I was waiting, you know, like checking the driveway, excited. Our little TV in the kitchen played this special on wrestling because wrestling was in town. So because of that, they had this wrestling piece, but it was from New Jersey, not Battle Creek, Michigan.
Yeah.
And it was at the Monster Factory. And it had this wrestling school. And I just thought that was so cool. And man, I'm just realizing now I ended up calling that wrestling school later and talking to Larry Sharp on the phone. But this hadn't happened yet. That's so crazy to think that. But it showed the wrestling school, showed these wrestlers training, and it showed their star student that they had that was going to be a big star. And he was this really big dude, but he's doing cartwheels. And he had his head all tattooed up. No one had ever seen that before. That was such a distinct look, having the fire tattooed on his head. And it really stood out. You know, you're going to remember that guy. Like, whoa. I don't remember what they called him, but I'm watching him at the Monster Factory when he's about to break out and be a star. And I'm a kid about to go to my first live wrestling show, where I would then find out that I could be a wrestler if I love it so much. I should work out and I could be a wrestler. And then that would lead to me finding out about wrestling schools. And then when I'm either talking on the phone or corresponding to these different wrestling schools later in life, what I'm picturing is what I saw on the news that day, my local news. I'm picturing watching those guys work out in the ring, no matter who I'm talking to, across the country, across the world, in Canada, whatever. I'm talking to these different wrestling schools. All I know is what I have in my mind from watching that, and it was Bam Bam Bigelow in that school.
Wow. That's so cool, because you think about it, geez, he like kind of was leading you into getting trained too, and then full circle moment.
What a full circle. Imagine like a 14 or 15-year-old me, you know, like looking at the TV, watching Bam Bam, excited about going to watch wrestling. And then years later, we'd have that classic match where our moves would be viral and go down in the history, you know, and always be remembered by the fans for breaking new ground. Me and him, that dude on the TV, boom, and this little kid in my little brown leather-looking jacket that I wore to the matches. Wow, that's crazy.
So crazy, man.
I never could have, you know, never fathomed I'm going to be in the ring with that motherfucker.
No, that's so
crazy. No, stealing the fucking show, taking the sport to new heights. Fucking literally, physically, fucking boom, changing the industry in a way that fucking is more exciting, more fucking suited for me. That's what I'm gonna do. Me and you, brother.
Heck yeah, that's fucking badass, man.
Yeah.
Ghost Malone.
Small world. It's a small world, folks.
Small world. All right, we'll wrap it up with this one. I think Ghost Malone for the $5. How was it preparing for the Elimination Chamber, and what was your reaction to first hearing about it? The Elimination Chamber.
Well, I was excited. I believe, you know, I don't know if we were told in advance what it was going to be about. You know what I mean? I don't think we were. But then I'm never the guy to get together with the office and say, hey, what kind of plans you got for me? What's next week look like? That's not me. It never has been. You know, it possibly limited me. Maybe that put some restrictions on me. I don't know. Who's judging me now? But anyway, that wouldn't be me. The way I remember it was in the daytime during on that Sunday pay-per-view or whatever the fuck it was, I remember seeing the ring hanging, and not the ring itself, but the cage hanging from the ceiling, and we're sitting in the stands where the fans sit because it's early in the day, like we always do, drinking coffee or whatever, warming up. And I remember the agents coming by and saying, I don't think I knew I was in it. The way I remember it was them, saying, keep looking at it, and let your imagination go, see what you come up with, kind of ideas on what we can do with that. And I think, if I remember right, I was like, that's for me. I'm in it. And I think, they're like, it's you and you and you and you and this guy and that guy. And I was like, okay. And they were like, we're going to, we'll have it down, like at 4:00 or whatever, some kind of plans of where we're going to be able to lower it for a little while. And then you can get in, but have some stuff in mind or whatever. Cool. That's the way I remember it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. How about that? Yeah. Elimination Chamber, a little wild concept, still effective, though. Still effective gimmick match going on.
I love you, baby.
I love you. I'll lay down, but I'll still be
Upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay. Staying home, right? Staying home tonight? Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if you were still here. She's looking at not doing this podcast for 3 hours.
We're going, wow. How are you? Happy 4th.
She said thank you. Yeah.
Well, did you want to do an RVDology? Are we good? What are you thinking? Up to you, brother.
I think I'm good for the holiday. We'll do one next week. I do really appreciate the feedback that I'm getting from it and knowing that it's appreciated. We'll put one together next week and fucking just feel my vibe. Try and be good by your standards. That's what I'm going to leave you with this week. And if you meet your standards and that's not okay with some other people, the problem's not with you unless you got some skewed values. If you're doing the best you can with what you got to work with based on your own values, and you can respect your efforts and your accomplishments and your vibe and what you're doing, then sounds like you're doing all right to me.
Yeah, there we go.
What do they know?
That's it. Garrett, maybe this will be your RVDology for next week, Rob. He asks, give some advice on getting over a breakup and or a divorce. So maybe yes. You got to know that first off, if it's not a mistake, then just accept that. Because people have a hard time with either one. Because there's so many emotions going on and your ego wants you to not lose. It feels like you lost biggest failure of your life. And your ego wants to not lose. But as emotions do, that gets in the way of intelligence and common sense and being able to make smart decisions because you're hurt. You want to hurt back and you want to win. You want to win this. And at the wrong time, winning could seem to you like winning means getting your partner back. Or it could mean not breaking up. That could come across like a W at the time to your ego. But in reality, it might really be happening for the best, when I went through my divorce with my evil ex, I fought it tooth and nail. I tried everything to not let it happen. I didn't want to be one of those
divorced dudes. They're pathetic. Are you kidding me? And I'd spent so much time talking about how this bitch was my number one priority, and everyone knew that about me, how important my marriage was to me. So I had so much to lose besides, splitting half and all that. That's not even part of what you're considering at this point, but it is part of the loss. But I looked at the whole thing as a huge failure, and I went into marriage thinking that was the number one most important decision that I'd ever made. So I didn't want that to be a mistake, because my dad said your partner should be your top priority no matter what. Houses come and go, money comes and goes, kids come and go, everything comes and goes, but you're saying you're going to be together forever. So for me, because I respected the qualities of being faithful, being genuine, those are hero qualities, I thought, being standing for something. So for me, I was like, no, I'm going to stick with this, even ride it all the way down into the ground, which is what I did. I ended up respecting myself in the long run. There's absolutely nothing I could have done to change her mind. And at the time, I thought that was such a big mistake. Why? Let's just, we could work it out and just be okay and not real happy or fulfilled, but be content. And that's really what you're going for. Don't do it. In the bigger picture, oh my God, I can't believe I fought to keep that, because life is so much better now. And now I look at it like we were such a mismatch. I can't believe we stayed together that long. I can't believe that so many people thought that we were such a solid item that knew us. I mean, the boys, ECW guys and stuff. Because I didn't cheat on my wife, everybody thought that must mean that that I love her so much, and that we just had the best marriage ever. And we had about 10 years that were decent, and about 8 years that were just progressively worse and worse. The last 3 being separated and just trying to work out her taking the biggest advantage she could of her opportunity to get paid, because she would probably never make any money for the rest of her life because she didn't know how to do shit. And so after having me pay for her trying all these different career ventures while she's spending all my money anyway, building her house and all this stuff, then when she gets divorced, she still takes as much as she can and gets me to pay her afterwards on top of it. And then when I had the concussion symptoms, my evil ex was saying that I was faking those symptoms to try to get out of paying her the extortion that she was getting. That's a new factor that I don't bring up a lot when I talk about the trifecta hitting me, and me going through some rough times in 2016. But looking back at it, holy crap, I'm so glad we're not together. Like, when I think about it, I couldn't really be myself ever. I was always uncomfortable, trying to do the right thing, walking on ice, trying to not say the wrong thing. And when you're a mismatch, it comes out in different things. And you don't realize it at the time. So you think that those things are really about what they're about, but they're not. So you go, oh my God, she's impossible. We fucking fight over how the forks are put in the fucking fork drawer. She's such a... It's not about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Now I know it. Now I know. No wonder we fought about all these little things. We were such different people. It was so hard trying to work things together. And I'm so glad that she knew way before I did that we should end it. I also think that the only reason we stayed together for so long was because she wasn't genuine like I was. I met her in a strip club. She started out with all the lies that a dancer normally gives you. And little by little, I found out some of those weren't true, I mean, after being with a bitch for 2 years, you're like, wait, you didn't study ninjutsu in Japan? You mean, you know, just but little by little, and then I find out like I really didn't know her at all, really, because she always kind of would, I think, tell me what she thought I wanted to hear, and then that's what kept it so long going and looking good. That and my schedule, because I was gone a lot. Otherwise, I'm sure it would have come to a smash a lot sooner. But I know that there's a much bigger picture, and you don't know that right now because you're only going by what you can see, and you can never see the whole bigger picture. You can always only see right now. That's all you can see. But there's so much more to it. So that's my advice with breakups and with divorce, which is the same thing. Unless you think it was a real big mistake, you know, and it never should have happened, because sometimes that does happen and couples get back together, you know, especially if they're new to each other. They might be on and off again. I don't know. I mean, really, it shouldn't be that much hard work. Mine was. And then I was always judged by how hard I wanted to work, because I was told that's what relationships are about, are really working hard and compromising. No, they're not. They're about being a good fit. The better fit you are, the less work it is, and the more honest and genuine you are about everything, about who you are, what you want, what you do. The more genuine you are about that, the more likely you are to find somebody that matches your vibe, and then you can enjoy life together being yourselves.
Man, that's perfect, Rob. It really is, because it's like you got to look at it. You don't see the big picture when you're in that environment, and when you break somebody, it's tough. You feel a whole bunch of emotions, from shame to, like, you know, regret, anger, all that stuff comes into play. So you can't get out of that. What I kind of learned going through a breakup is, like, focus on you at this time and period. Just make sure you're doing stuff to make yourself better, not necessarily what they wanted from you, but what you want to do for yourself. And then on top of it too, you just gotta don't be afraid to put yourself out there at certain points in time, but don't have any expectations either. Like, just, I
like the impromptu RVDology. That's better.
Yeah, how about that? That was pretty good, huh? Yeah. It was pretty good. So
what was I gonna say? As far as, you know, you said spend time on you, I would also broaden that to say it's a good time to work on your relationship with the universe. And that may sound crazy, but it's discovering your path, accepting it, being comfortable with it, controlling what you can, and accepting what you cannot. And all of that not only makes life easier, but it helps you maintain a higher frequency spiritual vibe. And while you're approaching the breakup, fighting, screaming, going through the hurting and the name calling and the accusations and lying and whatever, you're not vibing at a very positive frequency when you're going through that. So get through it. Have faith that your path continues. There's a much bigger picture, and be excited about what's waiting ahead for you. That's totally what I do, and that's totally what I would advise you to do.
Great stuff, Rob. A+ stuff. Man, impromptu archaeology is great too. Right off the bat. So, guys,
straight from the heart.
Yep. Straight from the heart, guys. Cool.
That's it. That's my advice.
If you like what you're seeing here, you can follow RVD at The Real RVD on all social media platforms. You can go to rvdtv.com, get the new episodes every Monday at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, if you want some RVD merch, new RVD merch, go up there to that QR code, and you can get the shirts, the tank tops, the hat that I got right here. OneTrueSport.com. You can also become a member at OneTrueSport.com. We got a lot of good members there. We got a good family here on a Van Dam Fam happening. So we appreciate everybody chiming in with super chats and just getting interactive and stuff like that. This is such a fun show to do. I was telling Fonzie how blessed I am to do this with you, Rob. It's good stuff, brother. So,
indeed it is. And before I see you next week, I will be in Montreal at the Comic-Con on July the 6th. And then on the 7th of July, I will be in Westchester, New York at the Jefferson Valley Mall. Apparently, I did an appearance there before 2001, 2002, I think, sometime way back then. I'm not really sure. You know, give me a 10-year window, and I think it's in that period. But anyway, that'll be cool to see the fans come back out, you know, and show me the pictures of their granddads when their granddads were little kids and came up and sat on my knee, and we'll go through stories like that.
Go through, spin some yarns, as we learned today.
I sat your grandfather on my knee right here.
Right here.
Cool. And I want to see the Westchester Premier Theater, but I read it got raised. Raised means like, right? Like they leveled it probably. It's probably not there.
Oh, dang.
Raised. Specifically, what does raised mean? That doesn't mean evacuated and remodeled. That means, sounds like it means fucking leveled.
Yeah, it does. Raised.
Well, I probably won't be able to see it then. It's just a theater that the mafia opened up back in like 75, and I was hoping to see it, but that's cool.
Hey, if you happen to, take some pics. Get some documentation.
Cool. All right, thanks. Thank you, Van Dam Fam. Thanks, Dominator.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. Oh, it's always good stuff. We'll see you guys next time here, next week here on One of a Kind.